Some people said she was too good. Others said she ignored the signs. But nobody warned her that the man who prayed with her would leave her at the altar for another woman. Before I tell you how a woman could be abandoned at the altar in front of 200 witnesses, please like and subscribe so you don't miss any videos. Now sit back, get comfortable, because this story didn't start on that painful December morning. It started 2 years earlier when a tired nurse met a smooth talking businessman, and love felt like the answer to every prayer she'd ever whispered. It was a random Tuesday afternoon in the city of Abuja. Sandra had just finished a 12-hour shift, exhausted. She went to the pharmacy near the hospital to buy paracetamol for a patient. That was when she heard the voice behind her. Excuse me, nurse. Can you check my heart? I think it just stopped. Sandra turned around, ready to tell whoever it was that this was a pharmacy, not a hospital. But the words died on her lips. Standing there was a man who looked like he had just stepped out of a music video. His name was Daniel, 29 years old. He owned an electronics shop at the main market. Let me take you to
Please, can I
dinner,
take
he
you for
said,
dinner to
to
apologize?
apologize for my terrible pickup line. Sandra
Sorry, I
hesitated.
can't. I don't know you.
I don't know you. But there was something about the way he looked at her, like she was the most interesting person he'd met all year. Okay, say, just dinner. That dinner turned into two, then three, then phone calls every single night
That is
before
the
bed.
sweetest thing I have
Within three
ever
months, they were
heard.
inseparable. She started imagining their future, their wedding, their children, the house they would build together. The courtship was beautiful. Everything felt perfect, almost too perfect. And that's when the cracks started showing. 3 months in the relationship, Sandra decided to surprise Daniel with food one Saturday afternoon. She took a taxi to his house in Independence Layout, humming a worship song, imagining how happy he'd be to see her with food in her hands. She knocked. No answer. She knocked again. Then she heard it. Female laughter, light and careless, coming from inside. Her heart raced. The door was unlocked. She pushed it open and froze. A woman sat on Daniel's couch, young, beautiful, light skinned, long Brazilian weave. She wore Daniel's jersey and nothing else. Who are you? The woman asked. I'm Daniel's girlfriend, Sandra said, her voice shaking. The bathroom door opened. Daniel stepped out with a towel around his waist, water dripping from his body. He paused when he saw Sandra, then smiled. What a pleasant surprise. He acted like nothing was wrong. When Sandra questioned him, he laughed it off, explaining too calmly about old friendships and emergencies. She's my old friend who needed help, and I can't let her down, babe. Daniel pulled Sandra close, whispering reassurance, turning her doubt into something she felt guilty for. You know I love you, Sandra. Don't let jealousy ruin what we have. That word stayed with her. A small voice in her head whispered, something is not right about this. Something doesn't add up. But she pushed it down, buried it deep, covered it with the sound of his voice saying, I love you. She didn't know that every silence has an expiration date, and soon she would be forced to see everything she'd been refusing to look at. By then, it would be too late. Months later, Daniel proposed to her in a fancy restaurant. He got down on one knee. The restaurant went silent. Everyone turned to watch. Sandra, his voice was shaking. From the moment I met you, my life changed. You made me believe in love again. You made me want to be a better man. He pulled out a ring, a beautiful gold ring with a small diamond. Will you marry me? Tears streamed down Sandra's face. Yes, yes, yes. The restaurant erupted in applause. That night was perfect, magical, everything she had ever dreamed of. The wedding plans began fully. It was a chaos, beautiful chaos. The date was set for December 28th. They attended marriage counseling at church every Saturday. Everything was coming together perfectly. Sandra was so happy she felt like she was floating. She had found her husband, her happily ever after. But then, 2 weeks before the wedding, small things started happening. things that should have been warnings. Daniel stopped answering Sandra's calls. When he did pick up, his voice was distant, distracted. I'm busy, babe. Wedding preparation is stressing me out. Let me call you back. He never called back. Sandra tried to ignore the cold feeling spreading in her chest. He's just overwhelmed, she told herself. Men handle stress differently. One evening, she was scrolling through Instagram when she saw it. He had posted a photo. Her heart stopped. In the picture, he stood on a luxury yacht, sunset glowing behind him, designer sunglasses on his face, and beside him, pressed close with her arm wrapped around his waist, was a woman. Her hand rested on his chest like it belonged there. The caption read, with the one who's been holding me down through everything real ones know. Sandra sat frozen on her bed, staring at the photo. But then Sandra's training kicked in. That same voice that had made excuses for him. Oh, she's that his old friend, she told herself firmly. He's mentioned her before. She's a business partner. She helped fund his shop expansion. That's why he's grateful. That's why he posted her. But even as Sandra made these excuses in her head, a small voice whispered, 2 weeks before your wedding, and he posts another woman with my real one, and you're making excuses? She pushed the voice down, buried it, just like she'd done every other time. That night, she finally got a text from him. Hi, babe. My phone was on silent. Did you see my post? Just thanking a business associate. People are reading too much into it. You know how social media is. Don't stress. Can't wait to make you my wife. Neoma stared at the message. Something felt wrong, but she typed back, okay, baby, I trust you. The wedding day finally came. The day everyone has been waiting for. Everyone was busy jubilating and making preparations. But Sandra, she was busy calling Daniel. No answer. Maybe he's busy, her friend suggested. Her heart was pounding, not with excitement, with dread. She had seen him yesterday after the traditional rites, but why is he not answering her calls? Her mother and aunties were already at her house, singing, laughing, getting everything ready. By 9 a.m., Sandra arrived at the church. Everything was perfect. White roses, purple ribbons, guests in their colorful attires, except the groom wasn't there. 10 a.m., no groom. 11 a.m. Guests started whispering. 11:30 a.m. People laughed. This man has run away. At noon, the pastor came to the waiting room. We should cancel. He's not coming, Sandra whispered. The wedding was cancelled. Sandra went back home sad and devastated. She stood before her mirror in full bridal gown, a perfect bride for a wedding that never happened. She collapsed and cried until no tears came. The next day, an unknown number sent a video. Timestamp December 28, 11:47 a.m. Danielle and Blessing on a beach in Dubai, kissing. The message read, he was never going to marry you. She funded everything. You were just for show. Everything clicked. The girl in his shirt, the messages, the Instagram post, always Blessing. And she had ignored it all. The signs were always there. She'd ignored them all. 3 months later, Sandra had finally started to breathe again. The first month was hell. She couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Social media was brutal. But slowly, she rebuilt. She went back to work, enrolled in a master's program, moved to a new apartment, and most importantly, she went to therapy. What did you learn? A therapist asked. That ignoring red flags doesn't make them disappear, it just makes the crash more painful. Sandra was in her new apartment one Saturday afternoon, reading a book on her balcony, when she heard a knock on her door. She wasn't expecting anyone. When she opened the door, her heart stopped. Daniel. He stood there looking terrible, nothing like the polished man she'd known. Sandra, he said, his voice shaking, please, I need to talk to you. For a moment, she just stared at him. He looked like he might cry. I came to apologize for everything, for the wedding, for hurting you, for being the biggest fool alive. Sandra said nothing. Her face was stone. Blessing told me she was pregnant the night before the wedding. She said it was mine. She said if I married you, she'd take everything, the shop, the car, all of it. She said she'd destroy me. Please, I know I don't deserve it, but I'm begging you, take me back. I'll be better. I'll be the man you deserve. I slap! The sound echoed in the hallway. Sandra's hand was still raised, trembling. Daniel touched his face, shocked. You have some nerve, Naoma said, her voice shaking with rage. You humiliated me in front of 200 people. You left me sitting in a wedding dress like a fool while you were on a beach with your sugar mommy. You gaslit me for 2 years, making me think I was crazy for seeing the truth. Tears filled her eyes, but they were tears of anger, not pain. I did love you. No, she shouted. You loved what I represented. A good girl to make you look respectable while your rich girlfriend paid your bills. You loved having two women, one for show, one for money. She stepped back. You don't love me. You never did. You're just here because you're broke and desperate, and you think I'm stupid enough to take you back. Leave. I'm sorry. I said leave. Goodbye, Daniel. Don't ever contact me again. And she closed the door. Inside, Sandra leaned against the door, her heart pounding. Then slowly, a smile spread across her face. For the first time since that terrible wedding day, she felt light, truly, completely light. She had chosen herself, finally. What do you think? Should Sandra have taken him back, or did she make the right choice by slamming the door in his face? Thanks for watching to the end.